welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me just go ahead and apologize up front because your robot is not with me today. So y'all already know I'm pressing buttons and just surviving by a thread. But that's okay, though. Welcome to Conflict Whisperer. I am Kiddada Esmeralda Gray, your Conflict Whisperer. I'm like your little original Olivia Pope, just for you, for conflict, right? And so it has been a minute. Hopefully I am live on Facebook because y'all know all the things, pressing the buttons is not my jam, and your robot is not here. And I feel like it's been a minute since I have seen you all. I don't know where I've been. And I don't know where you've been, but I do know I've been busy. And so I don't even remember the last conversation. That's kind of sad to say. Oh, no, I think it was my girl, Jamie. I think it was Jamie. Jamie, if it was your girl, please forgive me. Forgive me, Jamie. Forgive me. Because I have been in the literary streets. I have been writing and meeting deadlines, and I finished 2 books. For Saturday, Friday night at around 6 p.m. Made my publisher at Book Prime Publishing very happy with me. We're texting right now. And so he's probably like, oh, thank God. But the world is spinning. And I might make up some words today because I think we're in times where we can just make up words because it's spinning, it's fun, it has fun all the way out. And we are living in the midst of this. And I was going to have a teaching moment, right, y'all? Because if this is your first time listening to the Conflict Whisperer podcast, I just want to share with you that over here, we are truth tellers, and we tell truth in the space of conflict, through the lens of conflict, because life is conflict. Everything that you do in this life is conflict, and conflict does not mean war. That's one type of conflict, but it can be your interpersonal, your intrapersonal, organizational conflict. You name it, everything is conflict. From the way you choose to wear your clothes, what type of dog to select, to the type of arguments that we are seeing in social media today, right now. The news is conflict. Can we just talk about that? Everything that we are living in, I feel like we are in a washing machine of life at the moment, and we are being spun out in ways that we can't even catch up. And the funny thing is, I feel like just in case we have a modicum of an air pocket to reach within and, just take a gas and a gulp of air, we are losing it. We're not even getting that opportunity because we're hit again, whether or not it is things like drones going into NATO airspace, people being shot and killed. I bet you all don't know. Here's something for the farmers. And if you know a farmer, tell this to a farmer, because see, when you have so many things occurring in the media, you miss a lot of information. A lot of things don't get picked up. But here's something interesting. And I told myself today, you're not going to talk about politics on the show, but I feel like it's important because we do not go searching for information. And that's a problem. I don't know why it is that, we get out of K to 12. Some of us went from, got some terminal degrees and higher level degrees. I don't know why we stopped searching and seeking information. But here's something. Do y'all know that the United States signed a deal with, I think it's a few Southeast Asian countries to the tune of $20 billion for soybeans? I thought we had soybeans in the United States. I thought we had farmers in the United States that are asking for subsidies or, farm welfare, whichever one you like. And they're not farming, apparently. So we're going overseas to the tune of 20 billion, not even million, billion. I just wonder how many jobs that could be in the United States. Oh, and let's not discuss jobs, right? We've got the Hyundai plant down in Georgia. In South Georgia, it has now delayed the building of the plant for 5 months. There's a great economic cost there. So we're in the cycle, but I want to talk about something because even right now I'm seeing people like pop up on my Facebook page and they're arguing about something. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I think this is apropos because I think give me the opportunity to teach you all something for a second. I want to talk about interpersonal and intrapersonal conflict and what conflict feels like. I literally went to go pick some of my favorite books up out of the big library. So the dynamics of conflict, which is just one of the Bibles, if you're a conflict whisperer like me, interpersonal conflict. And it was interesting that I was like, okay, well, that's the ninth edition. I can tell you this: conflict doesn't change, and strategies around conflict don't change much either, with the exception of the introduction of technology. And decision treeing and making decisions is the same all the time. Unless you're going to go get an AI boyfriend and you're like, hey, I need a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Let me go get one from AI. And that is a trend on the rise. And then there's another one of my favorites called conflict management for managers. Actually, one of my professors wrote this. Perfect. So I want to give a tool set because I know yesterday in some churches, it was rough. It was tense in church. And not even days where they talk about marriage or something scandalous in the church. It was tense in non-denominational churches across the nation. And let me tell you why. From my perspective, Christianity is something that historically is a button around the world. Religion is a button, and Christianity seems to be in the center of the world of that all. And I could give you a multitude of reasons and why that is. But I do know that right now in this time, in this moment that Christianity is under review. There's some of us reviewing it because some of us are still looking for Epstein files, and some of us are wondering why this young man decided to shoot somebody. We're trying to understand what left wing means. But I bring all that up to say that definitions are important. And y'all know, y'all girl love a good Merriam-Webster dictionary. I love it. I wish everybody would go back to dictionaries. And so imagine being in church and you walk into church and Sundays are the most divided day in the nation, in the United States. Let me be clear about that. And you walk in and it's tense. And so for some of us, we go to predominantly white churches. Some of us go to predominantly Black churches, or all Black or all white churches. And some of us go to those non-denominational churches, which really sometimes mean that there's a healthy mix of individuals and faiths and so forth that's there. But, I always like to say they're like multiracial, interracial people. But then you have something come up like what happened the other day with someone who claims to be a Christian. And Christianity is, I'm not going to say it's under attack. I'm not going to say that because Christianity has been standing for many years, thousands of years. I'm going to say ideology is under attack. And so when I see that is our interpersonal conflict, when we are having a beef, where we're having a conflict with one or more individuals or ideologies. And for us, it is literally bringing up things like negative emotions, resentment, and really ugly behaviors, right? Like our emotions are real and raw. And what we don't know about conflict, because we don't really specify it, is that there's emotions around conflict. Like conflict in of itself is an emotion, right? We have anger, we have sadness, we have fear, we have all of these emotions. And I have to just do a little bit of dig because, the male population, love the male population, but a lot of them feel as if they have no emotions. Those are women's emotions, right? But let me tell you, when we see things like war and men are leading those types of things, pride, ego, anger, frustration, jealousy, feeling ashamed, all of those things are emotions that we all have and our leaders have. But I say this to say, you're in church and you understand that there's a rising tension. The tension is so thick inside the church. You're like looking towards the pastor for guidance and leadership, because in this moment, you need him to bring down the temperature. The choir is singing, and it doesn't seem like when they're singing, the temperature is dropping, the temperature is rising. And someone yells out to the pastor, "You are a racist." Woo. Wow, real story. Really happened somewhere in a church in America yesterday. Okay, what does one do? You have another person that gets so upset. A man gets so upset and it's just like, F this in church. Gets up, throws away probably like the little paper program that you get in church and kicks the garbage can. He leaves. The pastor can't even do second service. The pastor just decides, you know what, let me bring the choir up. It's that tense. And so when you are dealing with intrapersonal conflict, where you're having conflict with others, I need you all to learn how to stop for a second. And one of the biggest things that you can do is to stop when you're in a conflict and ask this question, because sometimes we have no idea what we're arguing about. You and the other person could use the same language, but you're arguing about different things. And so my prompt to you, my suggestion to you, my hope that you would utilize this is that you start asking to define the words or what it is that you're really upset about. So if we're thinking about what happened to Charlie Kirk the other day, we're sitting in church, and then the pastor maybe I'll be a pastor one day, and say, you know what, can we talk about, let's think about the highest level of things in church. We talk about God is love, right? The body of the church should have a working definition of love that they should all be agreeing to, because why else are we in the church? And I want you to think about that in regards to your relationships with others and even with yourself, right? Because it becomes an internal belief system, but you have to know what you believe, okay? So you have to start asking yourself, what do I believe? What is my definition? And I'm going to keep Christianity at the top of the list. What is Christianity? How do I define that? Or how do I define God as love? What does that mean to me? Okay? So I need everyone to start looking for those definitions. What are we arguing about? Because when you are having a conflict with someone that's an individual or an ideology, and someone's arguing with you about ideology, you all may not even be defining the word the same way. Hence the conflict. And it is important to note what your definition is with their definition. Because guess what? If you're in a body of a church, then guess what? You're all not on the same page. Hence the tension. Because if my Christianity looks very different than yours, and I think that you're my brother's keeper, and I don't think you're keeping me safe because you hear hate speech, but you can't understand what hate speech is, we have a problem. Our definitions are not the same. And it's important that when you practice this skill, practice it first with the person that is closest to you, right? Like your mates. Are you married? Are you in a relationship? When y'all are arguing, let's wait a minute. Let's make sure we're fighting about the same thing. Do you even have the same definition of love? How it's executed? What does that look like? You know, my favorite, some of my people, my favorites, my John Gottmans of the world, my favorite relationship people of the world, there's some of them that believe in, everyone has their own gifts and we should love people a certain way. But if we can't define what love is, then we have a huge conflict, right? And so I think it would behoove a whole lot of people in this world to start getting on the same page about definitions. What are we fighting about? And what do I believe? Because once you get on the same page of definition, then I can teach you the next step about how to, quote unquote, argue or fight or have disputes in a healthy way. Because I do believe in arguing. That is actually a natural thing in this world. But that is how you do that. We have to get the definitions together. We have to be in agreement with the people that are closest to us, the person that we're most intimate with. We should have the same kind of definitions in our life. And I'm not talking about groupthink, but I'm talking about morals, values, ideologies. So that way when we are engaging, we can at least be engaging intelligently. I hope. That's my hope for people. I hope. Because we are spinning out of control, y'all. To have conflicts in a church that's open, whew, goodness. And even so, just came across my news desk here that yesterday a Black man was attacked when he went to a Charlie Kirk vigil, right? And the person or the people, because he was jumped by 6 individuals, they weren't arrested. He was arrested for disturbing the peace in good old Idaho. That's one state I haven't been at yet. I haven't been there yet. Don't think I need to see any more cows. Iowa was enough. But I mean, come on, what are we angry about? And when I say conflict is an emotion, it really is. We don't see it that way. We just see the rage, we just see the anger, but we don't align it with conflict. We don't think those two things go in bed together, but they do. And you need that type of understanding of yourself and understanding of others to go, oh, this is what we're arguing about. And then you go, oh, then you know what? If we're so far apart, let's figure out ways that we can align with each other. Because those things are important. What are our similarities in this conversation? How do we deal with the disagreements on the things that we cannot define to be true? Because that's the only way that we're going to heal each other as a nation. But it starts at home, right? That's why I say, then go to the next person that's closest to you, and then go to your parents, because guess what? And your siblings, because as we grow up as adults, we age out of being under our parents' thumb. I'm going to say that again because some of y'all don't hear that. As we age, we need to grow out from being underneath our parents' thumb, and we have the ability to start thinking for ourselves. Just a thought. I'm just telling y'all. Don't come for me. But it's true. I should know that. I'm a mommy of 3. So, but I'm going to tell y'all something positive. That's it. That's all I got about your conflict thing. But let me just tell you, so you know, the hair came out, like I said earlier. My grandbaby was born. I am super excited about Mr. Talon. He's got a big name. His name is Talon Christian. That's all I'm going to say. But he has my family name, which is Christian, which I love because his daddy's name is Christian and now he's a Christian. So I love that. Yeah. It's kind of scary having new little people enter into the world, and I don't know what this world is going to look like. I do want to give you guys a tip too, just a news tip, just something that when you are like, what the hell are they talking about in the news? I just want to let you know that, we have, if you're following the news, Lord, please watch the news on occasion, get the highlights. We've had Russia invading airspace and over in Romania and in Poland. And I just want to say, anytime you hear the government use this language and they say, hunker down, or, there was a bombing over in Qatar. And I know someone whose son was there at the time last week that, we need to just bunker down. Hunker down, I think is the saying, hunker down. Let me tell y'all, that really means get out the country. If y'all don't know, I've studied war for a very long time. I've been studying war since 1995, 6. So just something for you all to think about. We are in a different time. So that's my bandwagon, but I'm going to say this. We need to know what it is that what we're doing. We need to know where we're going, and we have no path. Some of us have no path. I'm just going to say it, to tell the truth. Some of us have no path, which is horrendous. Some of us have lost jobs recently. And I know there are 300,000 Black women without a job currently. Majority of those jobs came from the federal government, right? So now people are wondering, what can I do? Where am I at? What should I be doing? And it's a scary time for people. And I don't have a problem with that. It is a scary time. And fear is healthy. You all, I want to tell you all that fear is healthy. Don't get stuck in fear, but fear is healthy. And one of the things I used to hear before I became an entrepreneur was everyone should be an entrepreneur. And I was like, everyone should be an entrepreneur? Oh, all you need to do is get an LLC. An LLC. Now listen, I'm a philosophy of religion girl. I never thought about entrepreneurship until about 7 years ago. But it was just something that, you know, made me think, because I always see that everyone should be an entrepreneur. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know if everyone has the guts to do it, because it is not for the faint of heart, depending on what type of entrepreneur you are. I'm a consultant. I'm an old school business consultant. I'm a political consultant. Running after contracts is a whole mood versus building something from your own, from scratch. And it's all the same, but do you have the skills? And I wonder if this is the time that we're going to see a boom in entrepreneurship. I just wonder where people are going to be like, you know what? It's time for me to just do my own thing, because it's taken 2 years for me to get a job. It's taken whatever for me to show up. But I want to know what you all think, is if you think that this is the time, because I have someone that is on the Conflict Whisperer today, who I'm gonna tell y'all, really, he's been running from being on here because I think he was kind of scared, but it's okay. It's all right. I think he was kind of scared, but it's all right. We're friendly over here. He doesn't know that yet. But we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and what that really looks like. What are the skills that you're supposed to have? What is the temperament you're supposed to have? Because listen, steady paycheck versus a paycheck that might come, or I got to figure out how to budget on one check for months at a time. It's a real conflict. That safety need for having your bills paid and having housing and consistent food and something like that is real, people. So we're going to talk about being an entrepreneur, maybe a real entrepreneur, with Dr. Casual Pitts on the other side of this commercial.
Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Well, welcome back, everyone. If you are just joining, and I see we have like almost 500 people watching. Hey to you all. I am Kiddada Esmer Gregg, Conflict Whisperer. And what I do is teach you about conflict and the strategies in the most, let me say that. I want to figure out how to say that. How to deal with the strategies of conflict in the most healthy way. That means I can teach you how to go from low conflict to high conflict to low conflict, and all and everything in between, right? To ensure that you have a happy, healthy, whole life. And I promise you it works. That's just one of the things that I do. But thank you for joining, because today I am super excited. And I can't wait to bring him on the stage, because I think if you were with me beforehand, I said I think he was afraid to get on the show. But we're nice over here. We are so nice over here. So I'm going to welcome Dr. Casual Pitts, my fellow Shout Out Atlanta alumni, because apparently we're in the magazine. Both of us were in the magazine. And he is known as a celebrity CEO. And he is the founder of the TV show, The Real Entrepreneur. And that's all I'm going to say, because you all know I like to have people tell their own stories. Yeah, I need to bring him on, because I need to know if he met Denzel. That's what's important. We need to know. Hello. Why are you laughing?
Because first of all, let me clear it up to the viewers that are watching. I was not afraid to come on this show. Let's say the trick of the enemy tried to stop me from coming on.
Potato, whatever. Whatever. It's okay. So, I mean, I welcome to the Conflict Whisperer Show. How are you?
Thank you. Look, Kiddada, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm amazing. I'm amazing because God put air in my body to breathe and still keep doing what I'm supposed to do for the kingdom.
I love it. So here on the Conflict Whisperer page, I don't tell people stories because the Black person in me knows that it's better for folk to tell you a story, because if not, they're going to tell all kinds of stuff about you. That's what I heard, though. If you don't got to know anything, that's what I heard. Mm-hmm. So you get to tell your own story. And don't forget to add in there if you've met Denzel, since you're the celebrity entrepreneur, because I got questions and phone numbers to hand over.
Listen, in the making, trust me, me and Denzel is gonna have a very clear meeting very soon. Right. I speak that into existence, right?
Okay. We love it.
But honestly, Kiddada, for this part, man, I always tell people my journey and my story. I'm a server. But God blessed me to be an entrepreneur since I was 7. I'm 40 now. So I had I would say, fortunate and unfortunate path of not having a job at all. Entrepreneurship was literally my only thing. There are certain people that they grow into entrepreneurship, and then there are some that are birthed with it, right? And I do believe that God birthed me with it. So I heard you on backstage and you had said something about that everybody should be an entrepreneur. That answer is absolutely not. Absolutely. Capital N, capital O.
You heard what the man said. He said no.
No, not at all. But I've enjoyed my path, my journey of the accolades. I've enjoyed my failures. I am not a perfect entrepreneur, but I have understood this journey to a point and to a place where there are certain things that I just won't deal with. There are certain boundaries that I've set in place. And through this journey, it was never like that. It was never always like that. It wasn't pretty. Man, and if I knew anything about the workforce field as an employee, I probably would take that route. That's probably the easiest route to go.
Yep. Listen, having a paycheck every Friday, every couple of Fridays, it's sustainable. You know how to pay your rent. You know how the food is going to be. You just know, and there's comfort in knowing. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm super excited because we met a couple months ago. I think it was. My math is always bad. And we met because of just the connections. And I had heard about the Real Entrepreneur Show and I had a good friend of mine that was on the show. And so she introduced me to it. And I just want to say thank you for putting us on. And I like that phrase, putting us on in a way that's not so contrived, but real. And I hate to say that because that really doesn't define things after I just had a whole conversation about definition. But sometimes Black folk know what Black folk talking about.
Absolutely.
Observe
I can read between the lines. I got you.
Observe and watch, people. Observe and watch. And if you are new to this, I'm Dr. Pitts, and it's so strange because I had to ask him beforehand, what should I call you? Because some people are fancy and stuff, and they want their accolades and stuff. So making sure that I had this Dr. Pitts. You are a creator, and so you have created the Real Entrepreneur. Tell us what that is. Tell us what that's all about. Absolutely.
So God gave me this vision. He gave me this vision before COVID, right? Literally in 2019, had the vision, and I just knew that it was, hey, it's go time. God gave me the vision. Let's do this thing, right? Not understanding that he gave me the vision not to launch it, but he gave me the vision to understand the direction he wanted me to go in, right? Okay. So he put it on hold from 2019, literally up until 2023. And he brought it right back out to life. He said, hey, now is the time. This is the perfect timing. And here's the thing, as an entrepreneur, we think that when God says now is the time that everything is just going to be perfect. Oh, no. That's when the towers start crumbling down and things start to not go your way. And the reason why is because the enemy now steps in to combat what the vision that he's given you, right? So I literally did not launch this platform because I didn't have enough support, right? I didn't have enough support that I thought I would have had. But God saw it fit to happen the way it should have happened. And again, even going through that process, he fought. But the real entrepreneur, the predecessor of the show is Shark Tank, American Idol, and The Apprentice combined into one, right? It is a platform for entrepreneurs to show their level of expertise with critical thinking, with how to navigate through different challenges that either they have not faced in their business yet, or they have faced it and forgot how, forgot what got them to where they're at. Right. So this show literally, it accelerates the mindset for the entrepreneur to then go back to their business and say one or two things. Either I need to level up in my business, or I need to go ahead and shut it down and do something else. Right. That's what this platform will do. It will literally wake you up as an entrepreneur, and you will say to yourself, okay, now am I really considered to be calling myself the real entrepreneur? Am I even considered to be calling myself an entrepreneur at all? Right. And that is the beautiful part about this platform. So if you are an individual who says, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm the real entrepreneur, I know I could do this with my, in my sleep, then please join the platform and you will be challenged to see if you will be crowned the real entrepreneur.
Is it scripted?
Absolutely not. It is not.
Okay.
No nothing.
Is anybody fighting? Are there fist fights on there? Okay.
I don't know that alludes to your statement at the beginning, right?
Yes.
One thing is one of the things that's in the contract. It's one of the things that we talk to the contestants about. And even if something did break out, it would not get aired. We don't air those things because that's not this kind of show. This is a platform. Yes, now we air the debates. We may air the back and forth because we understand that in this space, in this industry, those things will happen, right? So there's a good habit with debates, right? Discord, fighting, stuff like that. Thank God, 3 seasons in, going on season 4, we haven't had anything come to that magnitude.
All right. Thank you for that. Listen, I appreciate you for telling the truth about, is it scripted? Are we having fights? Because sometimes you're not here for shock TV. We're here for real TV. And I think that's perfect, right? Because real life is shocking in and of itself. We should not need anything scripted. And the entrepreneur life is hard. I'm in my 7th year and I'm just like, okay. And it took me about till year 5 to go, oh, I'm really doing this. I'm still here. But then I realized I don't like working in an office. I like to get up and go when I want to, right? I want to go do what I want to do when I want to do it. And listen, y'all remote workers, don't be getting up and going to the gym in the middle of the day and disappearing. Okay. That's not what we're talking about. We talk about when you have your own EIN and stuff. Okay. Don't just go pop off somewhere. And hey, Tanisha, I see Tanisha said the real entrepreneur is about showcasing Black excellence. Yes, I love that. Now, well, that begs a question. Is this only for people of the diaspora, or is it for all shades of people?
All shades. And it's just one of those things that, that has come about. We've had people in the comments before, oh, you need, and it's about, hey, Cass, I tell people all the time, if you want to see even season 3 was I think our 2nd season where we had another ethnic group, right? I mean, guys, you guys have to, the viewers, the entrepreneurs, it's up to you guys that you guys got to make the show, right? So it's not our fault that we are getting most predominantly African-American people who submit their profile to be on the show. We can only go off what we get and pick the ones that we feel that are going to, make the show noteworthy, right? So it's open to all ethnic groups around the world.
Okay, I love it. Oh, see, I didn't know that was around the world. See, I didn't know that. Okay, so it's okay, look at that. So my people from across the pond, y'all know where y'all at, what y'all doing. I don't. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if you can get into the United States, but we're gonna leave that alone. How visas are right now in the United States, but we gonna hope and wish for the best. And we'll circle back to the Real Entrepreneur casting because I want to talk a little bit more about that. But we joke and we laugh about this entrepreneur space, and I literally was drag kicking and screaming, and everyone that I know that makes the leap, because it really is a leap and it feels like you're jumping off the cliff even if you have best laid plans. One of the biggest hesitations is always, am I going to have the money to pay my bills for me to survive, especially if I have a family and children, right? So some of us go in blindly. Some of us go get dragged, kicking and screaming. Some of us are born with it. And I do agree that there's a born mindset. I don't have that gene. But what do you think is the mindset? Well, no, don't answer that. I want you to answer, why do you think everyone can be? Why do you think that we keep telling people, just be an entrepreneur? Just be an entrepreneur. Why do you think that's being told to people?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Kiddada. I don't know. Because guys, listen, I'll give you 6 core reasons why everybody shouldn't be an entrepreneur. The first one is the responsibility load is extreme. Okay, that's number one. You see, as an employee, you get to own tasks, but as an entrepreneur, you own outcomes, right? Cash flow, payroll, client results, legal, reputation, like all of that falls in. So you see how I had to give a list for entrepreneur, but I only gave you one thing as an employee, right? The second thing is emotional volatility is the norm, right? You will face uncertainty, delayed validation, public mistakes, and lonely decision making, right? So again, it goes back. You see, this is the scale, right? The third one is a skill stack. So businesses run on sales, systems, finances, delivery, leadership, and passion is fuel, but it's not the steering wheel. So when you get people that say, oh, I'm passionate about, hey, that's great. But if you don't add any skills to that passion, you are driving a vehicle with no steering wheel, right? The fourth one is freedom is rented and rent is due in discipline. I'm going to say it again because I want them to catch this, Kiddada. Freedom is rented now. It's rented and rent is due in discipline. So if you do not learn how to control your emotions, if you don't know how to learn how to control your approach, if you don't know how to learn how to control your response, then I'm letting you know now that you would get an eviction notice every time, right? And it'll be an eviction notice on your sales. It'll be an eviction notice on your character. It'll be an eviction notice on your business. And then you wonder why you're failing, right? The fifth one is risk tolerance isn't equal.
Yep.
Okay. Entrepreneurship requires making decisions with incomplete data and living with the consequences. So the risk tolerance is not equal. And the last thing I will give you before I digress is the opportunity cost is extremely heavy. Watch this. I ain't even talking. This is what's the most expensive. The most expensive thing in entrepreneurship is focus. That is the most piece in the business of in the journey of entrepreneurship is focus. That's the most expensive.
Interesting.
And I digress.
Why not time? There's a thought. Why not time?
Because here's the thing. If you can't even focus, time doesn't even come up into there are so many other things that comes into play. See, here's the thing, Kiddada. We're able to create the time capsule, but if we're not focused, this is the reason why we're all over the place. And I'll give you the perfect reason why. If you ask the average entrepreneur, how many companies do they have? I guarantee they'll give you at least 3 to 5. That already lets you know that the focus is out of whack. Now, you'll get people to say, well, Dr. Pitts, how is it that you have so many companies? Isn't that an oxymoron, or aren't you self-contradicting yourself? Absolutely not. Why? Because I followed one course until I was successful. That's the accuracy of my focus. So until I zoned in on what I wanted to make in this business, what it would take to replace me, then what it would take for me to now start the next business, that's the reason why I'm able to control the remaining companies that I have, right? I'm not just an entrepreneur out here who has a multitude of companies, but at the end of tax season, I'm struggling.
I hear that. Okay, well, and we're done, y'all. We're done. We're done now. All right, that was nice. Now that we all got our feelings hurt, and time to go hug a pillow, people. Because we don't have focus. And it's really an interesting thing about focus. It's interesting about building your brand, having skills like relationship management. I don't know, if you don't like to talk to people, you might not want to be an entrepreneur.
Man.
That's a thought. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to know yourself before you put yourself in the game. And listen, there was a time in my life where 9 to 5 was perfectly fine. It served a need, it did what it was supposed to do. But sometimes, to your point about skills, when you get successful or you stretch yourself enough where you feel like you're about to break in a skill, it's time to jump on to something else. And we have to know that. We have to have that mindset. And that is a very, that's not what we're taught. We're taught to be in the corporate world. Just so you know that we're taught to be inside of the corporate world, even though you will hear differences in communication that say, guess what? The foundation and the rock of the United States in particular is small businesses. And so that's, we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna leave that there. I'm trying to be good, y'all. I'm trying to be good. All right. So I'm impressed. I think you know what you're doing. So 30 businesses in, 15 to 30. I saw different in my op work. I saw a span, right? But why so many businesses? Are you just bored? What happens?
So Kiddada, here's the thing. Here's the reality to that, right? I would say that was a vibrant, young, Casual Pitts before he became more of a mature Dr. Casual Pitts, right?
Okay.
It's one of those things when you know that you're good at what you do, you're great at what you do, and you can just do it because you're great at doing it. It was a good run. I got up to 18 companies. And that was very successful. And when I started to learn that I was chasing the wrong vision that God had for me, right? And he had to sit me down to say, son, you're right. I gave you a gift, but this is not how I want you to use your gift. Here's what I need you to do. And he gave me clarity, right? And I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I want you guys to understand that even the individuals that are successful in life, we still make mistakes. It doesn't, just because I'm successful in my business doesn't mean that I'm a perfect entrepreneur, right? I had to learn and understand that when God called me, at least, to the path that he called me on, I had to make some tough decisions. So I had to sell 5 of my companies, right? And I had to sell 5 of my companies because God needed me in an area where he wanted to have me in. And that's what my company now, Connect MD. And that's now what I'm doing full time. And watch this, Kiddada. He now wants me to sell another 3 of my companies, right? So he's condensing me down. Right. And I appreciate that he allowed me to get to 18 to understand that, son, I can give you more income, more things that you want in a smaller space.
Yeah.
Scaling at a larger scale, and you can have more peace.
Right.
So I said, okay, God, I'm 40. I'm doing what you're telling me to do, right?
Right.
And I think that we have to come to a space and a place as an entrepreneur to say the one thing that God has given you to, because your gifts will make room for you. And that scripture I have lived to see it, to witness it, to experience it. That's what got me to 18 was my gift. My gift got me to 18 companies, and it made room for me. It gave me the resources, it gave me the blueprint, it gave me the connections. However, just because I was at that level Kiddada, man, you talking about no sleep,
That's
7
right.
days a week, right? And it was, again, God allowed me to have that space, and he was watching his watch to say, okay, son, now it's time to spend more time with me. And here's how we're going to do that. I need you to do this, and this. And when you do these things and follow me, I'm going to open up this door, and this door. So again, that was that young, vibrant casual. Now we're down to 13. We're down to 13 with 3 on the horizon to sell. We'll be down to 10. The next time you talk to me, you'll probably be down to about 5, right? I honestly, Kiddada, closing this statement out, I want to only control right now, as I'm seeing the vision that God has given me. I only want to do 3 things, and that is my award show, the TV show, and Connect MD. Right now, those are my 3 sole focuses that I'm really focusing on right now. And then everything else that God will leave me with, I want to just put that on autopilot, put another CEO in position and let them run that particular corporation. Yep. Probably give them 70% ownership so I can only control 30. Yeah. And just sit back, relax, and collect the royalties.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, thank you for that, because that was real honest. And I have 2 questions. I don't even know which one to ask first. I don't even know what to ask first, because I'm going to forget one of them, I promise you. So let me ask this one right now. So, I just wrote a book about success, in my version of success, and it's called A Quiet Woman's Guide to Loud Victories. And one of the things I talk about is faith and my faith in God. And one of the things that I say up front in the chapter, y'all, is like, listen, me and God, we have a real interesting relationship, because I get mad at God. I'm upset with the Lord. In this entrepreneurial walk, it is a challenge. And when you are walking by faith, right? Because sometimes everything is not laid out for you. You can put everything on a piece of paper, and then everything on paper looks like it's going to work, and then something happens. It doesn't execute the way it is. And you're like, listen, if you're like me, I have said, Lord, why did you let this happen? And in that space, I had to learn how to figure out the joy and or the lesson that I was supposed to learn, right? Because there's a lesson always there if you're a person of faith. But Dr. Pitts, oh my goodness, I almost slipped there. I was like, okay. But Dr. Pitts, I have a question for you. If someone does not have faith, if they are not a Christian, if I'm an atheist, and even atheists believe something, but that's a whole conversation over there. What do you say to them? How do you explain to them an entrepreneurial journey?
Well, one of the things, because I've dealt with this, right? And here's this is a great question. So even atheists who follows the principles of what the ingredients of success can hold, they'll still be successful, right? They'll still be successful. Now, when you add the ingredient of faith, it eliminates fear, because fear only has 2 meanings. Fear, the first meaning of fear is forget everything and just run,
right?
Or face everything and rise,
right?
So for those individuals that don't have the ingredient of faith, their attribute of commitment is low. Their attribute for customer service is low. There are so many acronyms that they miss out on when faith is not in the ingredient, right? And it's almost like tasting cornbread from an Indian tribe versus tasting cornbread from your grandmother. And the cornbread from the Indian tribe is good. It's like, oh, this is good. Like this can actually sell. Like I can actually sell this. But then the cornbread from your grandmother, it's like, oh baby, this is the bomb.com. Oh, this need to be in every store. This need to be on every shelf. So that's how I measure up not having faith and then having faith in your journey of entrepreneurship, because in what I've learned, what I had to understand is that when God is not in it, it can be a harder journey. It doesn't mean that you won't be successful. Let me clear that up for anybody who wanted to be, for the people who want to be too holy, for the people who just want to, right? Just because people don't believe in God don't mean that they won't be successful, because if they learn the principles, they're still going to be successful. However, the longevity, the resources, the access, when you add God in it, oh yeah, there's just a different kind of level of access. There's a different kind of level of faith. There's a different kind of level of growth. There's a different kind of level of downloads that you receive when he is the actual CEO of the idea or the business that he gave to you in the first place. So that's how I size that up.
Well, we said that. We then talked about some cornbread and everything. Which makes me think, because I'm a transplant to the South. I'm a Caribbean girl. I'm a New York girl. I'm a Southern girl now. I think 20 years in the game in the South. Do you like, controversial question? So even in the chat, y'all let me know. Cornbread with sugar or cornbread with no sugar in it?
Oh, I don't do water cornbread.
Oh, the hot water cornbread. Isn't that weird?
I can't do that.
Isn't that wild? I feel like you gotta be a different person for some hot water cornbread.
Look, it's like, and here's what's crazy, Kiddada, right? Like, we can eat regular white or wheat bread, right? And that's really all hot water cornbread is. But I believe, I'm gonna tell you what throws us off. I think what throws us off the most in the hot water cornbread is the texture. It's the texture. Because I've tasted,
hot water cornbread is rough. Like, it is like, you gotta be hardcore, and I'm not that hard. Even white bread got sugar in it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not the 1000 BC. That's not me. I'm good, baby. I'm good. Yeah, that's not me.
No, I'm not the 1000 BC. See, this is I'm not going there with you, because you're not taking me with you on that one. Lord, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He did not mean it. So I cannot. I told you this was going to be a fun interview. So tell me, I remember at 7, like 7 years old, the only thing I wanted to do was read encyclopedias. That's what I wanted to do. I love a good encyclopedia. Can we bring back the encyclopedias? I will do the work. I will write them up myself. That's my true excitement in life. But you said your first business was at 7. What were you like? You woke up one morning and was like, you know what, Mom and Dad, I need to be a CEO. Where did this come from?
So my father had a rubber roofing company, and back at that time, putting rubber roofs on mobile homes was like the thing. Like, that was like the lifesaver, right?
Okay.
Putting rubber on top of mobile homes was literally like a game changer. And that was my father's business. And I worked with him. And we had this really big job. And I worked with him before this, but this one particular big job that he had, he paid me $500. And when he put that money in my hand, that was my first time ever having. At 7, he paid me $500 for the job that we did for putting rubber on this one particular. It was a big mobile home. I think it had to be like a double wide mobile home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it took like 3 days to do it. And my dad, after me helping him and holding the rubber down, and I was sweating. It was hot because that black rubber, baby, get hot.
Yeah.
So I earned my pay. Not knowing what I was going to get. My dad gave me $500, and literally I held on to that $500 for almost a week. I didn't want to spend it because I never had this. So I was wondering, I'm like, man, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? And immediately I say, I love candy. I love candy.
Oh, no.
I love candy. My friends love candy, right? So I said, okay, well, here we go. We had a candy lady that had to be about like 8 blocks up the street. And I went in and I told her, I said, hey, I want to sell candy to my friends. And she laughed, she giggled at me, and she was like an Indian lady. Mm-hmm. She said, okay. She was like, well, how much do you have? I said, I got $500. And she was like, okay. and she was my wholesaler. So she gave me a crate full of candy, a crate of all the things that would sell. And
I love it.
she gave me like a little guideline price sheet of what I needed to charge. And keep in mind, the key word to this story is she was 8 blocks away from where I lived at.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when she gave me my price points, I added an extra quarter to some, an extra 50 cents to some. So my friends were like, dude, why are you selling this Snickers bar that's 50 cents? I can go to the candy store, get it for 50 cents. You selling it for $1. Convenience. Go. You ain't got no bike, and your mom not gonna let you.
You ain't got no bike. You
ain't gonna walk. Right? So go 8 blocks up the street and get the candy then. Go ahead. Go right in. Go ahead and the box get the candy. And that was how I started my journey.
You still have your friends that you was over here like you ain't got no bike calling people
out. Unfortunately, Kiddada, you know that some you keep, some you don't.
I'm like, okay, tell me I ain't got no bike. Okay, you can call people out like that. Okay. But it's true. I'm impressed by that. I love that. I wish and I hope I love to see kidpreneurs and having them learn the rigmarole of it all. And I don't know, I know you're probably so busy, but you're tracking a whole lot of things. And I don't know if you saw the story. And forgive me, young lady and her family, forgetting who she is. So I'll just tell the story in a high level that, we all know that there's been a Target boycott. And a lot of people have said, don't go to Target and so forth. And so a lot of African Americans, a lot of Black people of the diaspora have said they're not going to spend money at Target. And Target lost a bunch of money, a lot of market share. The CEO left. It's just been a mess over there in Target. And, so I think the thing was a lot of Black people are just like, we're done. We're not spending our money over there. And now we have a little conflict, y'all. So I'm going to ask your opinion on this because, a lot of brands are still there. They're not as showy and prominent as they were prior because I snuck into Target one time to go see what it looked like in there. I just wanted to know. And it was very bland. That's all I'm going to say. And my mommy heard all about it because I walked her through the store because she was on the strike too. But it was very bland. And so now we have a little girl who's a kidpreneur, a young Black lady. She's a kidpreneur. And she has her doll. Just got a huge deal with Target. And should we go into Target and buy it or just buy it off her website? What do you think?
I definitely would say, whether it's the Target conflict or any conflict, honestly, I wouldn't care if her product was in Walmart, which is where I shop at, faithfully. Buying it off her website will give her more stability.
Okay.
Credibility, and it will keep all of her royalties and her fees that will be designed and crafted to her. And I understand that bigger corporations allows larger distributions, right? I understand that, but then you're faced with what what Target is being faced with, and now that distribution is now limited, right? And these are just certain areas. I mean, think about it, Kiddada. You have people who have items and products all the time. They're typically not going to the local mom and pop shops. They want to go after the big boys, right? So then now let's reverse engineer that. Well, now Target is going through what it's going through. You typically you don't want to gravitate towards something that people are not gonna shop at, right? Then you got to think about the young African American young entrepreneur, her target audience. Who's her makeup, right? Who's her avatar of going to buy her products, right? That's another thing that as entrepreneurs you got to understand who your avatar is. And in reality, if your avatar is more targeted towards African American homes, family, single family homes, or just African American homes in general, then if our avatar is not in Target, then you got to go where the avatar is at. And that's the reality of it. So honestly, her just pushing her website to the masses, I think is going to be more favorable for her than anything.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to judge you because you over there shopping at Walmart, but we going wild work. Okay.
Well, in defense of myself, I only shop where I have stock at.
Once again, it said you own stock in Walmart. But I digress, and I go over here and over there sometimes. But I do want to honor the fact that it is 7:02. So I do, if we are running over, I'd like to know if you are okay with staying on with me a little bit longer.
I'm good.
All right, we are good, because I think this is a such a pertinent question, because you gave one of these skills that you feel like is really needed to become an entrepreneur, or even to be on the Real Entrepreneur Show, right? One of the attributes and characteristics of an individual is critical thinking. How, where do people get that from? Is that like on Udemy? Is that on a witebsite? Is that in a classroom? Where do people get critical thinking from? Because I just know we need to bottle it up and sell it. Or spray it on people. I don't know. Spray it, water it. I don't know what we're gonna do. Make it like fluoride. Just let it sleep in the water, and y'all just drink it up.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, Kiddada. Believe it or not, while you may be joking, I guarantee you that if you go on Udemy right now and type in a course for critical thinking,
I'm doing it right now, y'all.
Yep, let's do it now. Watch what pops up, Kiddada. Watch what pops up.
Because guys, I might need to go find a class. I might need a class on it.
And while she's doing that, let me just give you a few pointers as to reason why critical thinking is essential in your journey of just life, not just entrepreneurship, but just life, right? It helps filters noise from signal. And what do I mean from that? In a world of what's going on today, critical thinking is needed, right? It prevents expensive errors in your entrepreneur journey. Critical thinking speeds up good decision making, right? Critical thinking strengthens your persona on and your outlook on how you want to deal with certain things. It builds resilience, right? We can just keep going. It elevates leadership. Like, critical thinking is so vital to your life. It's to your life. And now that we have these resources, these tools that Kiddada is currently looking at right now, that there's a course for critical thinking. Am I accurate?
Yeah, there are. I'm gonna need some of y'all to do the bundle for $13.99.
Look at it from this. Kiddada's marketing approach to the reason why that you guys need to take critical thinking is because it's an attribute that needs to be enhanced. We all have it, and it is nothing wrong with you taking something to enhance that attribute to be just a little bit better at critical thinking, be a little bit better at decision making, be a little bit better at how you respond to certain things. So these are all attributes that we have. It's just up to you whether or not you want to enhance it. And I believe that the bundle that Kiddada is talking about, that she's going to drop into her comment section, so you guys can go and purchase the bundle today for $13.99. Enhance your critical thinking skills.
I'm just not. Not that I'm being a hater, y'all, but I'm just going to say this, that, it really dawned on me. I had an epiphany the other day, and it just was like, oh, that's the reason why. You know how you do things and you just kind of like just repeat it in your mind, and you're like, I just don't understand. And so I see the titles because I read a lot, right? I read a lot of stuff. I need to know. I have this great need to know. And so sometimes I just read the title of an article and then I go straight to the chats, because I am looking for critical thinking skills. I'm looking for decision making. I'm looking for logic. I'm looking for all of the things that I'm like, I remember we were taught K-12. And for years now, I have been struggling. I can tell you all, I have my own internal conflicts around, like, why is it that people the whole article will talk about the sky is blue, it's sunny today, and then people are arguing something totally different. It's red. And then the planet Mars was doing this and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, but wait, where did that come from? And the other day I had an epiphany, y'all. And maybe it was in the midst of my, like, I didn't have any more words. So I'm just writing and writing and writing to make a deadline. And it's like, Kiddada, come on now. When you become an adult, you start inserting your own foolishness and ideologies, and not even ideologies, y'all. It's just your experiences, right? And you eradicate everything else that you've learned to lean on your so-called understanding, which apparently you have not understood, which is in the chats. I see it all the time. But it's just amazing to me because I think one of, critical thinking, we laugh about critical thinking, and I talk about decision-making all the time in conflict because your decision-making abilities are either causing you conflicts or it's reducing your conflict. You will be in a cycle, going around and round and round all the time if you don't stop it, right? You have to know when you're going to get off this exit ramp and go on to the other one, right? That's what your intrapersonal conflict is like. And then when we're interacting in the external world, something has to click with you. And if it's not clicking with you, then guess what? We don't have the same experiences. So why am I arguing with someone who's never had the same experience that I have? Hence the definitions. Why are y'all out here? Come on now. I want y'all to do better. We have to, as adults, we're supposed to mature into something. And listen, critical thinking is obviously a skill that people throw away. I say conflict resolution is a skill that people swear they have, and I can tell you they don't have it. I can look at people and go, okay, we're gonna have a problem. And so, but listen, I say that in all reality because we're living in time and space where critical thinking is unreal. And it's not, and the lack of want and need to identify it as a skill that's lacking is serious. Because people are trying to build their lives over rebuild. Some people are going to want to come onto your show and go, well, I'm starting from scratch. I have an idea. Help me build this. And then entrepreneurs, or if you're not sound in what you're trying to execute, you will start going, it's like tree limbs. You will go from tree limb to tree limb to tree limb to tree limb, trying to find an answer, right? And then that's the starter. And then if you're 1 to 3 years in your business, if you made it 3 years, God bless you. If you've made it 5 years, God bless you even more. But even you still, your critical thinking skills can be overshadowed by certain things, because you talked about an avatar. I like that, right? Because that's for the ages. That's what people think about. That's what y'all young folks talk about, avatars and so forth. And so, because I wanted to know, how do you utilize technology, or specifically AI, in the entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I've been using, people don't understand this, that AI has been in existence since 1956. And I've been using it since the 2000s, right? That was how I even scaled to have as many companies as I had, was because I was always using AI, right? And there are so many different synthetics of AI that people just don't understand. There are certain advanced systems that already had AI built in them that a lot of people just was not using, or didn't know how to use, or they were just comfortable with using what they were already thinking that was working, right? So once AI became a thing, I had to pivot and not panic, right? And that is important as an entrepreneur. You can't panic, you have to pivot. So one of the things that one of the ways I will say on how you use AI in your entrepreneur journey is, number one, you got to stop fighting it. You have to. You have to stop fighting it. You have to stop living in a space and in a world of trying to take things back to where that they were, because we'll never get them back. I want you to think about it, guys. How many of you have ever complained about, oh man, I remember when candy bars used to be this much and chips used to be this much. Okay, great. You can think about that for a second, not even a minute, for a second, because the reality of it is it will never go back that way. Right. Oh, I remember when gas was 99 cents. You got 1 second to think that. Because once it lasts past the second, then you start to get swallowed up into that space in that world of trying to boycott something that will never come back. And you get caught into that group of people who are angry and upset and are mad that AI now is a thing. Instead of learning to understand, to then utilize it for your strength inside of your business. So the challenge for everybody that is watching now is to go back and say, okay, I'm in a reality of that AI is not going anywhere. Okay, great. Now that that's the new reality for you, for those that have been living in the space of denial. Now that you have understood that that's the reality, now you need to ask yourself, how can AI work for my business? And I think that is where people will start to get more clarity on how they can use AI for their business. And it's not for it to take over. Understand that now. Don't get caught up in allowing AI to take over your business. Allow AI to help aid your business.
Right.
And when you go at it with that direction, then you still keep the humanization attachment to your particular brand in your business for it to actually scale with using AI as an aid, not as an engine. There's a difference.
Okay, look at that. And I can tell you guys right now, there's some serious legal conversations going around about AI and creativity and so forth. And so you don't want to get caught up in it, but you do want to follow that information. Once again, go read something. Well, thank you. I feel like I'm sitting in the feet of someone that's giving me a free MBA program. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Saving me 100-something thousand.
Right.
We only go to good schools over here, y'all. So that's a good thing. So I love that. And so because I'm nosy, and I found out that wait a minute, I have a question, because sometimes people don't think CEOs are human, right? They think that you all are grinders, like you are so far away from the regular everyday experience that people have. Let me ask you this: what do you travel? What do you do for fun? Do you go outside?
So let me first reverse engineer the mindset.
Okay.
I am a leader, not a CEO or a boss.
Okay.
I'm a leader. And as a leader, I have understood that one of my boundaries is I have to put time into spending time with God and giving myself the self-care, right?
Yeah.
So one of my vices is I love to travel. I love to travel. That's one of the things. So for somebody who doesn't smoke, who doesn't drink, me traveling is like literally my vice. I love to travel. And because I love helping people, work gets caught up sometimes in my travel. But when there's times of the year, I cruise twice a year,
Okay.
April and October. And those are my 14 days out of the whole year, 7 days in April, 7 days in October, where I actually disconnect from the world and reset.
Okay, good.
And rebuild when I come back. So cruising would definitely be my very all-time high alternative. That's what I love to do the most.
All right, you got some emotional intelligence about you, so we like that. We like that. We'll keep you on just for a few more minutes, just because you said cruising, just because you gave a good answer. So I want to know, and so emotional intelligence is important too, but that's a whole other show, y'all. I do want to ask you, this is kind of like in the Real Entrepreneur show, right? In this reality TV series, who have you seen? Like, have you seen more men or women be better entrepreneurs?
Women. I've seen more women. However, check this out. Let me say this. I've seen more women apply for Real Entrepreneur.
Okay.
However, 3 seasons, 2 men have won the show.
Okay.
One woman has won the show out of 3 seasons, 1 woman and two men. So while there has been more females to apply, right now the men are leading the
When
flag, right?
why do
But
you think men aren't applying? Why do you think men aren't applying?
one of the things I've learned, Kiddada, is
Mm,
ego and pride are our biggest hurdles as men.
mm,
Woo! It is a big hurdle. And then when you get the men who are, if you add emotion to that, oh, it's even worse.
oh wow.
So ego, pride, and emotion combined. Oh, that is, man, that's almost a death sentence.
Mhm.
That's almost a death sentence. So it's that's the reason why I feel. And then truth be told, men don't like to be told other things by men, right? My judges are women, and it wasn't that was I didn't set it up that way. It was just the makeup of the show. I would love to have a male judge, but again, it's just one of those things where pride and ego. When it's stepping into a vein of, oh, this ain't my show, or I didn't start this idea. Like I can do it better. Like all these things come into perspective. So that's why I believe a lot of males don't apply.
That's kind of sad, y'all. Brothers, can we do better? Brothers of all shades. Like we trying to do better here. We're trying to do better. That's the goal. And listen, ego and pride are natural feelings. I want to honor that. Men and women both have it. Men, and those I just want to say, we could think that those are emotions, but we're not going to talk about that too much, because some men out here don't believe they got emotions. But we're gonna leave that alone. But let me say this, because one thing about being a leader is that I feel like leaders need leaders and or mentors. Do you have a mentor?
I have mentors.
Okay, lovely.
In every lane of business that I have, there's a mentor for that business. I have a mental health therapist for my own mental reset, right? I have a lot of these. It's almost like going to a gym and not working on the same machine. It's the same thing in business. You have to have a line of mentors that can help you. So I have a sales mentor. I have a project management mentor. Like I have all of these mentors that are going to help me elevate in the areas that I need elevation in, or the areas that I'm working in, right? You have to have a multitude of mentors. So when I'm talking to entrepreneurs or other leaders, and they, oh yeah, my mentor is he or she the mentor for everything? Because
Right.
if you have only one mentor, that one mentor can only handle so much, which means that where they're great at, they're not able to be as great because they're spreading themselves thin in all of the other areas you need help in. And then at some point, you and him or her start to hit a glass ceiling together, not understanding that, hey, I am a mentor only for this space. And mentors that are listening to this, understand that just because you give yourself a title as a mentor or a coach does not mean that you are a mentor and a coach for everything that this person needs or does.
That's right.
Stay in your lane, because that is how you are going to elevate as a mentor, and then elevate that your student as a mentee, right? I tell my mentees up front, when they start to navigate outside of the scope of where hey, listen, find a mentor for that. You find another mentor in that space. For I am your mentor for this and this only. I only want to stay here, right? And that's the reason why I no longer do one-on-one coaching. I only do group coaching now. That way, now it allows me as a mentor to touch the areas and not have to really hone in on one thing. I can give my level of expertise here and give my level of expertise there. And then you can take that information and then now go and search for somebody who's an extreme expert in that area. I just want to build you the framework and give you the foundation. That is the mentor that I've become now. I just want to be able to help people build frameworks, foundations, and you take that pamphlet or that makeup and go find you somebody who's a better expert than I am in that particular field. But here's a foundation and here's the makeup, so you can at least have a conversation and know what to look for.
Well, thank you for that answer, because that proves a level of humbleness in regards to your own leadership journey and what you can and cannot provide, but also in wrapping and encasing yourself inside of boundaries, right? Because boundaries are gifts, people. Once again, boundaries are gifts. So you didn't name any of your mentors, but I was doing some searching and I found somebody that you look towards, right? As someone, in my understanding, it's LeBron James. Because you say he's like the greatest and, you know, he's hated. And so explain that to us, all of us non-LeBron James fans.
Well, listen. So when the people look at LeBron James, right, they automatically compare him to Michael Jordan.
That's correct.
And the reality of it is, if we're going off stats, if we needed to do a deep dive and go off numbers and do all of this stuff, right, that we don't do, then Michael Jordan wouldn't be the only person that you would want to compare LeBron James, or you want to compare LeBron James to, right? LeBron James, I believe he is the best in his era. I believe is the best that is to current date right now, right? And I believe that when LeBron James hangs it up, then there's going to be somebody else that's going to be a great in that era, right? So I look at his whole makeup. I don't just look at about what he does on the court. I look at what he's doing off the court, right? And I follow LeBron James just like I follow Peyton Manning's career. And what he does off the court is more monumental and more sacred to me than what he does on the court. Being able to open up a school to help students and then have a grade level, right? As far as for their test scores to rank in air, that says a lot about what he's investing into that school, right? As far as for teachers, as far as for the give back to the community and the students, right? Then what he stands for as a husband, right? I believe that he has a great foundation of somebody who is looking to potentially get married. If you look at LeBron James's history, he's not in the tabloids for cheating on his wife. He's not in the tabloids for, you know, hanging out in clubs and doing stupid stuff. He's not getting arrested, right? So there are so many different attributes that he carries to off the court, not on the court, but off the court, that gives him somebody that I can say, you know what, I can take a page out of his book and can utilize that, and I can follow that. That's somebody that I can support, and somebody that I believe in. So he's not just a great for me just because of what he's done on the court, but also what he's doing off the court. And the investments that the private and silent investments that nobody know about, that he has invested in, and the stuff that he is doing in that space is crazy. And he is another individual that I'm very, very close to us potentially doing something together. And you know, I can't wait.
So I have a question.
I have an answer.
You gave this framework, the outer, the inner of LeBron, and you know what you admire. So what do you think about his hairline?
Well, Kiddada, I will say this. I will say every man hair is not equal. Okay. We all go through our times, and you know, there's one of those things. Put it to you like this: it's one of those things where it's like, okay, look, you can either be great with a bad hairline, or you can have a great hairline and not be good. Now, which one
do you want?
Which one you want, right? So you got to look, Kiddada. You got to deal with the you got to play with the cards that you're dealt with, right? So
I'm just saying, if you ever get real tight, it's time to have a conversation. Because we got some barbers in Atlanta that can.
Oh, baby, yeah. Listen,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes,
so,
we do.
This morning, I'm grateful for you to be on the show. I'm grateful for you to be a teacher. I'm grateful for you to take us through the journey of entrepreneurship from your lens, from your successes, and kind of give us some insight into what is next? Like, what can we move to? What can we do? And so I understand this morning you were on Fox 5 News here in Atlanta, all fancy and stuff. I said earlier that I would give you your congratulations, so I give you your flowers right now. It took me a few hours, but it's okay. It's all right. It took me a few hours to arrive here. So congratulations. Tell us why you were on Fox 5 News.
Absolutely. So I was on Fox 5 News because we have a solution to this big, beautiful bill that's not so beautiful. And it's dwindling in the healthcare space. So we provide a healthcare membership that is not insurance. It gives our members 24/7 access to physicians, free prescriptions, and you can have up to 7 people on the plan for no additional cost. And if you want more information on that, Kiddada will be dropping a link in the comment section that you can go and check out more information on. And if you need additional questions to be answered, that's when I would come in and help aid with that to make you feel as comfortable. But it is a solution to those individuals who are looking to add something as a supplement because of the times that we're going through in healthcare, or for those who are just fed up with the high cost of what healthcare is. You can use it as your main primary, which is what I'm doing as an entrepreneur. It is my primary, but that was the reason why I was on Fox 5.
Yeah. And so thank you. So ConnectMD, I became an agent, have my own agency and so forth, and baby stages of it because I need some time now that I got time. But I will say this though, that our as entrepreneurs, right? I even think about my personal world and or my business world of political consulting. Consultants, we don't get healthcare, And at one time I'm like, there's concierge MDs, there's all kinds of private kind of groups that are out here, but this is very different. This is a different plan. This is I believe every facet of your healthcare life, that if you need to get touched, you can do this and you can have it with this plan. And one of the major things that I love is mental health care that is sitting inside of this program where you can get access to mental health care professionals. You and the 7 people on your plan can get access almost 24/7. And that is unheard of to have a mental health professional on call per se. Because normally it's taking weeks, it's taking months to see someone, which is absolutely ridiculous. But they're burnt out too, and a lot of people are leaving that profession. So you were on for ConnectMD, and is that the big thing? Is that your retirement thing? Is that like you're like, this is it for me? This is it.
Yeah, definitely, Kiddada. That's it for me, and it's because I'm understanding just that lane, that area, that space. Something that people are going to always need. And I remember my father used to tell me, hey, get into a trade, right? And I look at ConnectMD as a trade because we're providing a service that's going to always be looked at, right? People are going to always be looking for something in healthcare, no matter what it is. And being able to receive free prescriptions, I think, is one of our leading services within the services. That's a striving vehicle, because I've helped cancer patients that were paying $1,000 a month now to not paying nothing at all. And that is huge for the space that we're in. So amazing. So more to come on that. And if you heard that in Atlanta this morning, more to come, because we're going to be here. So Dr. Casual Pitts, thank you. It is 7:30. And I appreciate you spending the time with us. And like I said, we kind of got like an MBA for free, or at least a certificate level MBA class today. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you understand what it takes. And I was just going to say thank you and leave. And then I'm like, nope, wait a minute. I have a question, because I promised I was going to ask you a question the other day. Absolutely. And so this is important because entrepreneurs, you talked about this in your earlier life, right? Your earlier entrepreneur walk, you were hustling and grinding, right? And so how do you feel about the hustle and the grind philosophy that's now embedded inside of entrepreneurship? I think that every entrepreneur needs to understand the hustle and understand the grind in order for you to create a space of consistency, persistency, and normality, right? Because if you get caught up in the hustle and you get caught up in the grind, you'll run yourself raggedy. But if you understand the hustle and you understand the grind, then you should be able to come to a medium to where now you can start setting clear boundaries and setting a clear schedule and working that schedule consistently and persistently. Because guys, at the end of the day, if you stay working up until 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I want you to understand that everybody is asleep. Right?
Everybody's sleeping.
If you are going to be working like that, make sure that there's substance behind it. Meaning what? Maybe those times should be the times where you're learning a new skill set. You're getting a certification, right? Not trying to drive sales on social media at that time and being upset that you're not getting any results because you're not doing it right, right? So just understand I want you to experience it, meaning that I want you to go through it to have the experience of understanding what hustle and what grind is. But then you have to come to a medium to understand that you want to use those topics as leverage, right? Leverage that's going to be healthy in your journey, because we all wake up and hustle. There's a certain time. My father used to always tell me there's a time and a place for everything, right? There's a time to hustle. There's a time to grind. Then there's a time to just coast, relax. It's okay. It ain't going. It's not going to change. Ain't nothing going to happen. Hey, stores are closed on Sunday, baby. They're closed. Right. Some even are closed on Saturday, right? So understand, Walmart used to be 24 hours. They've learned that they only need 2 shifts, right? They only need 2 shifts. So again, just guys, pull back. You don't have to hustle all the time. You don't have to grind all the time, right? You have to grind. Now you have to have this is what encompasses all of that. Work ethic. That's what you have to have. So replace hustle, replace grind with work ethic. Even the people who go to the gym don't spend all day in the gym. They find that time, 30 minutes, an hour. That's all they need, because baby, the muscles ain't gonna get no bigger, right? And it's not gonna happen overnight. So they come out of the gym. That little puffiness that they have, that's temporary. When that couple hours go by, that comes down, right? So again, I want you guys to understand it's the work ethic.
Work ethic.
Work ethic.
So he just said literally the endorphins that you get out of the gym got y'all puffy. I'm gonna leave that. Bet y'all didn't know that at LA Fitness. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. No, that's all I got, y'all. That's all I got. It's 7:35, and I'd even say, like, this is so random for me to do a show in the evening. So it's refreshing. It's still, we've got like this much daylight left. Go enjoy yourself. I'm gonna go take my dog out because Zora has been already over here a few times looking at me. But thank you, Dr. Casual Pitts, for being here, for lending your intellectual property to us for free. Don't send me a bill. So it's for free. And appreciate you so very much, because I think it's very rare that we get to speak with a leader that's really willing to share the secrets, their personal secrets of success in this space, because you have to have a heart for people to not be fearful that someone's going to run off with your stuff, that you really want to build people up. And so please tell the wonderful audience, listening audience, when's the casting for the Real Entrepreneur Network?
October the 23rd, and I will be dropping a link in the comment sections for everybody, but October the 23rd. And we just opened up that for those that are out of state, that are not in Atlanta, you can do your casting virtually. So don't be afraid of saying, oh, well, I don't live there. You can do it virtually. And if you're selected, then that's when you're going to have to worry about getting your flight down for the 6 days that we're going to be utilizing for filming. But other than that, don't allow that to stop you from putting your bid in. Get your casting vote submitted. Again, I will drop it in the comment section. But October the 23rd, guys, is when we are casting for season 4 of The Real Entrepreneur. And December the 12th through the 17th, we are going to be filming for the show of The Real Entrepreneur.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Not in the middle of nowhere, Georgia.
Right. In Atlanta.
In the A. So that's good. So people have to be prepared. Like, don't sit there and and then go, wait, December? Wait a minute. I need time.
Right. We're going to give it all to you up front. October 23rd is the casting. December the 12th through the 17th is when we start filming.
How many people do you select?
10.
10 people. So you got to learn how to work with people, y'all. You got to learn how to know how to work with people and stay in a house together. Is that my understanding? In one of the best mansions in Atlanta? Is that how we live in?
Well, we ain't going to say one of the best mansions. We're going to say one of the best mansions. We'll say a home. How about that? You'll be in a home.
I don't know what side of town is on, y'all, so I can't co-sign and say, yeah.
Hey, listen, in Atlanta, you can find some mansions even in a bad area, and you don't even know it. You'd be like, this house is over here?
Yeah, but follow my rule. We ain't supposed to be everywhere. All right.
Right. That's true.
We ain't supposed to be everywhere. But thank you, Dr. Casual Pitts. Thank you so very much. Thank you all for the listening audience. More to come with Conflict Whisperer. Actually, I'm going to go back to my hour on Thursday at 7 a.m. with a more interesting conversation to come. I'm telling you, can I just say that I'm loving that I have a lot of men on the podcast speaking their truth, speaking their lived experiences, because I think the world needs more of that. That's the positive energy that we need, especially when we are seeing rhetoric that is so different from men and women, and they would think that we are always in conflict. And listen, keep following me, because October 16th, you will see myself and Dr. Casual Pitts on having a conversation about challenges, disputes, challenges that men are having in this space. And guess what? It's for men. I'm going to lead with the men. And I'm going to tell y'all sisters of all shades, y'all can come, but y'all got to be quiet, because we're going to learn something today. We're going to learn something October 16th. So thank you. You have a wonderful evening. And bye, y'all. Bye.
One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcasts, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome. Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.